she'll. Here, I'm going to hand that to you. Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Representative Rick Noriega, and the sun is shining bright in Texas today. Today marks the last day of our exploratory campaign for the United States Senate and the first day of my official candidacy to unseat Republican John Cornyn. It's time all Texans had representation in the United States Senate. It's time to put an end to the politics of division, and it's now time to work together to get our country and our state back on track. We're wasting no time, and that's why we're here today. My wife, Melissa, and I flew up from a morning send-off in Houston, and today is the first day of the candidate filing period. And I have found in hand the official forms that are completed and signed, along with the candidate filing fee, to offer myself for service as a Democratic candidate to be the next United States Senator from our great state of Texas. After a grueling legislative session, Melissa and I had numerous discussions, and our concern is one shared by Texans across this state. I just returned from Amarillo, in fact, this past weekend. And what I hear across the state, from El Paso to East Texas, from Brownsville to the Panhandle, all across this state, is that we're frustrated with political leadership that is out of touch with the fundamental values of regular Texans. Texans want to invest in education, protect health care for children, and respect the privacy of law-abiding citizens. We have long been involved at the grassroots level, our family and our community, but it has become increasingly clear that the politics of arrogance that puts special interests ahead of the public interest was coming from higher up the ladder. And it was time to challenge the politics of Karl Rove here in the state of Texas, their game plan to divide us as Texans and as Americans. And our mission must be to unite our state and our country. So in mid-June, in the heat of the summer, we launched an exploratory campaign for the United States Senate seat. We traveled from Houston to Austin, again, all across this state. We listened to people's hopes and dreams and concerns, and we shared ideas on how to bring an end to the war in Iraq and address the issues of families that we face here at home. And I challenged Texans from all across this state in every walk of life to join with me in answering this call to bring our state and our country back together again. And we launched our campaign at the foot of the Heroes of the Alamo statue here in Austin, as you'll recall. And everywhere we traveled, Texans stepped up, they crossed the line in the sand, and they've been answering the call to this campaign. When you take the time to break bread with Texans in their homes, you see a very different picture than what is portrayed in the media. Oftentimes, as you're aware, and I kid with some of our friends here, RG, how the media looks at Cornyn's bank account. But voters look at their own bank account every day, and they want to know how they're going to be able to afford health insurance. A gentleman in Conroe was telling me the other night, he says, I've been a Republican the majority of my life, but let me tell you, not anymore. Because I am so frustrated and tired of being misled and misinformed. I'm concerned about how I'm going to pay for my wife and I when we get old, how we're going to be able to take care of one another. I'm concerned about our children being able to go to college and achieve the American dream, and them not being so in debt once they've completed their education that they start off in the rears. I'm concerned about how I just drive to work every day at $3 a gallon. These are the issues that regular Texans are concerned with. How the day-to-day issues of the kitchen table issues of how we make it every day. These are the things that concern us as Texans. I think sometimes the media believes it's all about TV and negative attacks. But voters have become increasingly sophisticated. They don't believe everything they hear, and for good reason. And when it comes time to join in hands with others and get our state and our country back on the right track, they're willing and ready to go to work. For Melissa and I, public service has always been a calling. I heard and answered the call young in my life after seeing the media reports of hostages during in light of the Iran hostage crisis in 1979, and enlisted in the United States Reserves. And I've continued answering the call as a member of the Texas Military Forces, as y'all are aware, serving a tour of duty in Afghanistan, alongside some incredible people here in the state of Texas, friends of mine that are deployed again. And I answered the call, as thousands of Texans did, doing my part to provide shelter and hope to families that were fleeing a devastation in a state next door to us, our neighbors, in light of Hurricane Katrina. And Texans understand the difference between self-service and public service. Unfortunately, it's a lesson lost on the junior senator from this state. Today we have the opportunity to correct course, and that's why I'm answering the call. This next call to service to help get our country back on track. It's time that we quit having show horses and that we have work horses for the people of the state of Texas. It's not about photo ops at the Brooke Army Medical Center on Veterans Day when you continue to vote against veterans and their families. It's not about doing a photo op here in Austin last week in a CHIP call center. It's about being in Washington and voting and standing up for the children of the state of Texas. It's not about standing up on the Rio Grande and saying that you are against the wall and for immigration reform and then going to Washington and being an obstructionist in the process of something that's critical to the state. We enter this campaign under no illusions. Few people today have asked, or few people might not recognize our name. But when you go beyond the superficial questions, you'll find that millions share what our campaign stands for. This campaign is not about making my name a household name. It's not about a Democrat versus a Republican, and it's not about two people, Rick Noriega versus John Cornyn. As we prepare to spend the next 11 months traveling the state, we plan to talk about who this campaign is really for. This campaign is for the moms and dads and grandparents who are caring for the children of the troops who have deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan over and over again. It's for our veterans who have served our country, but when they return home and carry on without adequate medical care or health insurance for their children, someone needs to stand up for them. And it's for the countless Texas families who work hard, yet find that health insurance and college and housing remain just out of reach. And for them, we can no longer call this an exploratory campaign. This is a mission to reclaim our United States Senate seat here in the state. This is a mission to restore true Texas values. There will be those who sit back and judge from the sidelines, but week by week, month by month, they will be outnumbered by the regular Texans who are ready to reclaim America's global standing, Texas's true values, and the United States Senate seat that belongs not to the politicians, but to the people of this great state. Mr. Chairman, I would like to present to you our official paperwork filing for United States Senate seat once held by Lyndon Baines Johnson. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.